Burlington Conservation Commission to order in the year 2020. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order superseding certain provisions of our open meeting law, and in his subsequent order on March 15th, 2020, imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Burlington Conservation Commission is being conducted by remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public has adequate access to the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to or view this meeting while in progress may do so in a number of ways. They can go to the BCAT Government Cable Access Channel. You can go to the BCAT Government Meetings Facebook Live feed, or you can join the meeting over the phone at 408-418-9388, and there is a meeting number. It's 173-596-3961. It is on the, it's being shared now by Eileen Coleman. To join the WebEx Live video conference, you can do it live and join us. You click on the link at the Conservation Commission's meeting page or in the Town of Burlington town calendar. What you do is go to the town calendar, go to the Conservation Commission meeting for tonight. You click on that, on the date with the meeting in it, and up will pop the agenda for the evening, and the link is on the agenda. Okay. Or you can do it with further instructions by going to webex.com, and then you have to put in a meeting code, a meeting number, and a random set of words and numbers that are a password. All of that is being displayed now. New public hearings open tonight will not be closed, so we can allow comments from those who are unable to or access or are uncomfortable with this technology. Comments and concerns regarding public hearings should be emailed to conservation@burlington.org before the next meeting on whenever the next meeting is. Before the next meeting on October 8th. Okay. All right. First thing I'll do is all votes will be done by calling a roll call because of the format. And so the first thing I'd like to do is call the roll call of commission members present. Don Bernstein, he is absent. Gail Lima.
Present.
Indra Deb.
Present.
Bill Boyven.
Present.
Thank you. Jennifer O'Riordan. Turco.
Present.
Kent Moffett. Okay, I thought I saw him. Yep, Kent's here. All right, I can see that you're here. I didn't hear it, but I can see that you're here. All right, John Keeley, our administrator.
Present.
Eileen Coleman, our assistant administrator.
Present.
All right, so I'll ask applicants to introduce themselves, to unmute, and after we're done speaking, please remute so we don't have as much interference with all the people on the call. All votes will be by roll call. I should note that I believe this meeting is also being recorded. All right, so the first item on the agenda is citizens' time. Is there anyone either on the phone or on this video conference itself who would like to talk about something not on the agenda? All right, the record should show the answer is no. Item 3 is approval of minutes for September 10th, 2020. Are we in a position to approve? Okay, Gail nodded yes. I guess we are. All right, so could I have a motion to approve the minutes of September 10th, 2020?
So moved. Gail.
Second, Ed.
Second?
Second, Ed.
All right. All right, thank you. All right, so Gail, how do you vote?
I move to approve them.
Yeah, I know you did, so the answer is yeah, you vote yes.
In
Indra,
favor.
Abstain.
you're abstaining. Okay, Bill.
Yes.
Okay, Jennifer.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
All right, so I think that's 5-0-1. The chair votes yes. Okay. All right. Next, we have a certificate of compliance request, possible return of surety, 328 to 330 Cambridge Street. This for Iconic Capital LLC, DEP file number 122-622. Okay, who would speak for this one?
So I am Jeremy Lederer, and I'm the owner of the property. And together tonight with us, we have Frank DePietro from BSC Group, and I think I saw Emily Derrick as well, who is also with the BSC.
All right. Okay, so thank you for your introduction. Unless you have something further to say, we'll just launch into this. The commission was out at the site visit. John or Eileen, would you give us, one of you or both of you, give us your opinion of the state of 328 Cambridge Street?
Sure, I will. So the project is done. There's a few landscaping issues. Obviously, some of the trees look like they're going to need to be replaced. Some of the hydroseeding, because of the drought and the limited ability to water, isn't really established. But there's still erosion controls up, and the project is substantially done. My recommendation would be to issue the certificate of compliance.
Okay, so thank you. Gail, any comments?
So I agree. It looked a lot better than last time we're there. I think we noticed that there are one or two trees that are going to need to be replaced that look like they've died.
All right. Indra,
I don't have anything.
that's fine. Bill, anything on this one?
Nothing further.
All right. Jennifer?
No comments.
All right. Ed?
No comment.
Kent?
And I agree with John. I think it looks a lot better. I took a ride over there today. It looks really good.
Right. Okay, I agree with the previous comments. Okay, so let's, if there's nothing further on their certificate, could I have a motion to issue the certificate of compliance for our 328, 330 Cambridge Street? Iconic Capital is the proponent, DEP number 122-622.
So moved. Ed.
Second, Bill.
All right, so Gail, how do you vote?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Vote is 6-0-0. Now, how much performance surety was posted on the project, John or
So you-
Eileen?
So we're holding $10,000.
All right. So the grass is not established. Maybe a couple of trees need replacing. What would you recommend for this one?
I would recommend giving half back now and holding half.
Okay. All right. Mr. Lederer, are you okay with that? That seems kind of reasonable.
Yes, I'm okay with that.
Okay. All right. Could I have a motion to put on the floor for releasing one half of the performance surety equal to $5,000 for 328, 330 Cambridge Street, DEP former 122-622?
So moved. Indra.
All right. Second.
Second, Bill.
Gail.
All right. Thank you, Gail. Gail, how do you vote?
In favor. Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Carries 6-0-0. Folks, very nice. Okay, the project looks pretty good. So thank you very much. And I guess we'll see you folks back at some point in the future for the remaining release of the bond.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate all your efforts.
All right. You have a good evening.
You as well.
All right. Thank you. The next one is item 3. We have the Burlington Mall sidewalk. This was the actual applicant was the town of Burlington, DEP file number 122-631. Is there anyone besides the commission here from the town of Burlington?
It doesn't look like it, Larry, no.
Okay, John or Eileen, would you like to introduce
Sure.
the topic?
Yep, sure, I'll do it. So the town was the applicant in really name only. The project was financed by the Simon Corporation. Simon from the mall paid for it, and it was part of their approval for the redevelopment of the mall. The work is all done. It looks, the commission did a site walk yesterday. I think it was pretty unanimous that it looked really good. They managed to put in the riprap retaining wall and stay out of the wetlands. They did plantings of, I think they were all red maples. They all look, except for maybe one of them, they all survived the drought summer, and looks like they're going to be okay. So I'd recommend issuing of the certificate of compliance.
All right. And I understand there was no bond on this one. Is that correct?
Correct, since it's a town project.
All right. All right. So let's see if there's any comments from anyone or any audience in this. Gail, any comment?
No,
Indra?
No, it looked good to me. I did go through the project just by myself, and it looked good.
Okay, thank you. Bill?
I was impressed. I mean, I thought this was going to be a very challenging project when I looked at the initial plans, and they did a terrific job. It did come out excellent.
Jennifer?
No comments. I would agree that it looks really good.
Ed?
Kudos to the job. It looked great. Yes.
Yeah. Kent, anything on this?
No, I agree. I took a ride there today, and it looks really good.
All right. I'll just say that aside from the job done exactly as described by the engineering and the construction folks, this was an important project for the safety of those people who walk around the area. It was really crucially needed to have that sidewalk. And so aside from the technical aspects that were very well executed, I think it was a very important project for us to get done. All right, so could I have a motion to release the certificate, issue the certificate of compliance for the Burlington Mall sidewalk by the town of Burlington, DEP file number 122-631?
So moved, Ed.
Second, Indra.
All right, Gail, how do you vote?
yes,
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. The vote is 6-0-0. Very good. Thank you all. The next item is item 5. Notice is given, the commission will hold a WebEx virtual public meeting. And at that time, we'll have a request for determination of applicability filed by Scott Rigolini. The commission will take information related to some proposed landscaping activities within a 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetative wetlands. This proposed project is located at 18 Rocky Hill Road in Burlington. The application is being heard under the State Wetlands Protection Act and Burlington Bylaw Article 14. And you can get information or obtain a copy by emailing conservation@burlington.org. Okay, so is there someone here for this particular project?
Yes, Scott Rigolini.
All right, nice to see you. So, and I assume you do live at 18 Rocky Hill Road.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Would you like to say a little bit, you get to go first. You're our guest, so you get to talk and say whatever you would like about
Sure.
what you're proposing.
Sure, yeah, I moved into the house in December of last year. It's new construction, and the backyard's fairly new. It's new seeded grass. We'd like to put in a patio, which would be within the 100-foot buffer zone. There are some shrubs on the side of the house that the builder planted. The shrubs are planted too close together, so I want to space those out so there's room for those to grow. And then the last thing is I'd like to extend the backyard and plant a little more grass, which would be within the 100, but encroaching upon the 50-foot buffer zone.
All right. Thank you for that. We'll first go to either John or Eileen for their assessment of what we have here.
Okay, it's John. I'll take this one as well. So the commission did a site visit yesterday. The wetland flags are still intact from when the house project was done a couple of years ago. So it's fairly easy to determine the 50-foot, the 100-foot, and the 20-foot no disturb with the flags in place. So the commission had questions about I don't think the patio, there were any questions regarding that, but they did have questions about the extension of the lawn, including which trees, if any trees, you were going to take down. And also, it was difficult. The stakes out there were confusing, so the commission couldn't really figure out exactly where you wanted to extend the lawn to.
I see. Yeah, so the lawn, I'd like to extend from where so originally when the lawn was planted, there were straw bales, and I wanted to extend the lawn 30 feet from where the straw bales ended. I think it was pretty clear where the lawn ended and where the wooded area started. So I'd like to extend the lawn 30 feet from that point. I think the demarcation there was a couple of trees that were growing side by side, and then maybe 3 rocks. I don't know if you saw that. I don't really have it on the plan that I sent you guys. I didn't have that blown up big enough. So
would you like me to share the plan, Scott, while you're talking?
yes, that'd be great. Yeah.
You keep talking.
Okay, great. Thank you. As far as removing trees, we really didn't have any plan to remove any of the big trees. What we'd like to do is just remove some of there's a burning bush, which I don't believe is a native plant. We'd like to remove that. And we'd like to remove just some of the saplings and some of the weeds in that area and plant grass in that area. We'd have to probably bring in some loom to plant the grass seed in. But we really weren't looking to remove any large trees. And we were going to taper it. So I think you can see where the wetland demarcations are not straight lines, right? They're kind of curved lines. And we wanted to curve the lawn so that the lawn is curved away from the 25-foot no disturb mark.
Along here?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right. So based on that, John or Eileen, before we go to the commissioners, do you have any comment, or should we just go to them?
Sorry, no, I don't have any further comments.
All right. So Gail, you have a question or comments?
Yeah, so a couple of questions. So, and maybe we were out there yesterday, and most of the trees that I saw out there were not saplings. So I guess I'm kind of confused about what trees that you're planning on removing, and I think we'd need to know about that. Also, it's great to remove the burning bush. I actually counted 4 or 5 burning bush out there that would be nice to remove. In terms of the fill that you're planning to bring in, how much are you is there gonna be any change in the grade of that area? And are you gonna be doing any excavation as well?
There's no plan to do any excavation. in that area. I mean, we might have to do some excavation where the patio is going, just
Mhm.
because it's not very level.
Mhm.
But there really wasn't any plan to do any excavation in that 30-foot zone. As far as saplings goes, I guess my definition would be, there were smaller trees. They were probably, I don't know how many inches in diameter, maybe 3 or 4 inches in diameter. They weren't very big. So I don't know if that
Remember.
definition exceeds saplings, then I would understand.
I may just not remember. I mean, I remember there were a number of mature trees that were quite nice that we
Yes.
want to see taken down.
Yeah, we don't want to touch any of the mature trees.
Okay, and what about the grade? Are you going to be changing, anything in terms of what the natural grade is out there now?
We really didn't get that far with the landscaper. I'd have to speak to him first. I don't think so. That really wasn't my plan, was to change the grade at all. I don't know if you recall, but there is a little bit of a step from where the hay bales were, and then it kind of lowers down. And that area of land in the backyard is relatively flat. But I don't know if you recall that my backyard does slope quite a bit. So there's really no plan to change the slope of the backyard. But I would like less of a drop off between where the hay bales were and where the land, the backyard, starts to flatten out. But I wasn't really planning on changing the grade or doing any excavating.
Okay, that's all I have for now, Larry.
Good, thank you, Gail. Any questions? Did Indra leave?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So what I want to ask you, are you bringing any fill or no? I know you said that you don't want to change, but are you bringing any fill?
I'm not. I might have to bring in some fill. Yeah, I may have to bring in some fill because I don't know if we plant grass there, if the grass seed will take. So we may have to bring in some fill.
So you mean loam?
Yes, loam. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Loam. So if you bring loam, so that will change the grade, John?
No, loam isn't really put that deep. Loam is usually only spread like 3 or 4 inches.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Bill, anything further on this one?
No, nothing further.
Jen, anything further?
No, nothing further.
Ed?
Nothing to add.
Anything?
You captured it.
And Kent, anything further on this one?
No, I think everybody's captured.
Yeah. Okay, the chair will just say, I saw one tree that was not particularly doing well. It was right adjacent to a large tree. So if that's the kind of trees you're talking about, I see no issue with that.
Okay.
Just a question for John and Eileen. Do you folks have any concern about out of the 20-foot no disturb at all? Are we okay on this?
So when we get to the conditions, there'll be a condition that the area be staked out in advance for us to look at before erosion controls go in, so that it's at least 25 or at least 20 feet away from the wetlands, or
All right.
25 if you choose.
Okay, is there anyone in this? Okay, the record should show the answer is no. All right, so if that's the case, I'd like to entertain a motion for wait, we have to, well, you have a draft decision. We should review that first.
Mhm.
Eileen or John, would you do the honors?
Sure, I'll do it if Eileen, you're going to share it.
Trying to.
Okay.
It won't open.
Okay, so I'll start anyway. The project description is the walkway, the patio, remove some vegetation and extend the lawn. Proposed work is within the 100-foot buffer zone of bordering vegetated wetlands. The wetlands were flagged for the previous project in 2018. The patio would be about 75 feet away from the wetlands, and the lawn work would be over 20 feet from the wetlands. And then the decision, condition 1, this decision's only for the project as shown in the RDA and the actual application form. Condition 2 is sediment barriers shall be installed and inspected by the Conservation Department prior to any land disturbance. And then there's some detail on, that's not the right.
Heck, no, it's
that's
not.
the
I'm
right
sorry.
form.
I know. It won't.
Okay. So anyway, so this number 2 is regarding the erosion controls. Number 3 is how we're planning on addressing the concerns about how close to the wetlands it's actually going to be. So condition 3 is the limit of work shall be staked out prior to erosion control installation, but the Conservation Department staff can ensure that the work will not occur within the 20-foot no disturb zone. Condition 4 is a standard condition about the disposition of all excavated and demolition materials off-site. Condition 5 is a prohibition on stockpiling within 50 feet of the wetlands. Condition 6 is regarding tracking of sediments onto the roadway. Condition 7, no filling or grading other than approved by this decision. And then 8 through 11 are standard conditions about dumping in the wetlands, the use of chemicals near wetlands, the commission's right to access to do inspections, and a standard condition about the results of noncompliance.
All right, Mr. Rigolini, do you have any questions that you heard so far at all? Is there anything, any big issue?
No, that's great. No, thank you. This is very clear.
Yeah, it's all.
I'd just like to make a comment, please.
Please, sure, go ahead.
So in those conditions, it's very important, 2 things that, whether you or you have landscapers, that there shouldn't be dumping of grass clippings back into beyond the limit. And also in those conditions is a stipulation about not using pesticides and herbicides on the lawn. So lawn services with the little yellow ticket, that's a no-no for where you live, because all that runs off into the wetland, gets into the groundwater, and is just not something that's allowed in these type of areas.
Just one question. So that's anything within the 100-foot buffer, or is it like, so should I not do it in the front of the house as well, or?
You're muted, Gail. Gail, you're muted.
There we go. So ideally, regardless of where anybody lives, no one should be using this stuff because it runs off lawns, into the streets, into catch basins, gets into our rivers, affects all kinds of invertebrates that are really important in our ecosystem. So I would encourage you not to do it. You can have a really nice lawn without all this stuff. But I'd let John answer outside the buffer. Yes, you can do these things, but I encourage you not to do it. Save money. Stop. All these things also take lots of petrochemicals, which add to fossil fuel use. So just go green. Okay.
Okay, we'll go green.
All right, your enthusiasm is showing, Gail. Okay. All right, so could I?
It's more my frustration. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. Did I call on everyone? Did everyone get called on? Kent, did I call on you?
Yep.
Okay. So could I have a motion for right of conditional determination as discussed for the project at 18 Rocky Hill Road for landscaping activity?
So moved, Bill.
Second?
Second, Ed.
Gail.
All right. Gail, how do you vote?
In favor? Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, 6-0-0. All right, sir. Good luck with your project.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate the help.
All right. Have a good evening.
You too.
All right. Next is item 6. We're on item 6. It's a request for an extension to the order of conditions for a wetland and a wetland bylaw permit for both of them. 3 McIntyre Drive by Sanjay Patel, DEP file number 122-599. Is Mr. Patel here? I don't see him.
Mr. Patel probably isn't here. I told him he didn't really have to be unless he wanted to be. This is a so you issued an order of conditions for this project 3 years ago. It's almost finished. They've been working on it sort of piecemeal ever since. The house is up. They're at the point where they're doing landscaping, but they just needed that extra couple of weeks of extension. Well, I mean, I would suggest you give them a 1-year extension, but they'll probably be finished within the next few weeks.
All right. So is there any outstanding violations or anything of that nature that's going on here?
No, they've been pretty good. In fact, I don't know if you want to see any pictures, but I went there today and they put up new wattles. So they're aware of what they have to do. They've their DEP sign is still visible. There's no outstanding conditions
Okay.
or issues.
All right. And does anyone on the commission have any comment on this one? Okay, then could I have a motion to issue an extension to the order of conditions for DEP file number 122-599 for 3 McIntyre Drive for a period of 1 year.
So moved, Ed.
Second?
Second, Indra.
All right, Gail, how do you vote?
In favor, yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Ned?
Yes.
Votes yes, 600. The permit is extended for 1 year. All right. Next, we have a continued public hearing of 10th. This one was located for a project at 6 Maud Graham Circle. The owners are Michael and Colleen McLean. They are constructing a residential addition. It has a DEP file number of 122-649. Good evening, folks.
Good evening. How are you?
I am fine. And how? Right. Okay, so Michael and Colleen, would you like to make any comment before we move further on this?
No, this is just a continuation of the September 10th meeting, and you guys wanted to have us come back with some measurements that were taken by the surveyor, which Mary Trudeau was able to obtain and refile those numbers, I believe. She's unable to make it tonight,
Yes.
but she told me she spoke with somebody about it.
Right. All right, John and Eileen, do you have any comments on, did we get what we were looking for?
We did. I was just trying to find the plan that I had there. So Mary, earlier on this week, she sent around a plan that showed the elevations more clearly. And it seemed to indicate that, I can try and find the plan for you in a moment. It seemed to indicate that the 128 line is approximately right on, John, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is approximately right where the addition would be. And the floodplain is between 127 and 128. And she also today sent over something about, you had also asked for something about plantings. So she had proposed to provide, I think it was eight shrubs in the area within 20 feet of that drainage channel. And that seems appropriate to me.
Okay. So does this, Eileen, does this mean that there is no issue with filling of floodplain elevation? Is that what this means?
They appear to be outside the floodplain elevation, and the plantings are a form of restoration for being a riverfront area, and they are also in the buffer zone.
All right. Is there Eileen, is there any other issues that you need to make us aware of?
No, I think not. Their total increased impervious area is only about 400 square feet. Because they're actually building partly on grass and partly on the existing driveway, and I think partly using their walkway and the mudroom. Yes.
Okay.
Or the sunroom, whatever. So, some other room is being exposed.
All right. So let's see if Gail, anything further on this one?
No.
Indra?
No.
Bill?
Sorry, I was just looking at the plan. So you said the 128 line, the floodplain line is right at the addition? Not the
That's,
the rest of the addition is above that? It's not clear to me.
let me try. Do you want me to share the plan if I can find it?
So the floodplain elevation is 127, and their entire lot is at 128 or above, or not the entire lot, but where the building
But
is.
that area, the
is
the
128.
addition area.
Yeah.
Very good. That was my only question there.
All right, Jennifer, anything on this one?
No, nothing more to add. Thank you.
Ed, do you have anything?
Nothing to add. No.
Kent, do you have anything on this?
Oh, nothing to add.
All right, I've heard nothing further. Is there anyone in the audience? This is for a proposed addition at, let's see, it is at 6 Lord Graham Circle in Burlington. Anyone else have a comment? All right, there is no one else having a comment. Are we in a position to review the decision?
I
Eileen?
think so. If I can open the document and share it, yes, we are. Let me make sure I am. Okay, here we go. So since I have the bylaw open, let's start with the bylaw. So just to recap what the project is, it was a construction of an addition to the right, the southern end of the existing house, and replacement of invasive species with native shrubs. Let me make this bigger. The proposed work was within the buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands and within the riverfront area to Sandy Brook. This part here is just highlighted because I was waiting for confirmation that it actually was above the 100-year floodplain, and we're confident now that it is. The work was partially on existing lawn and partially on existing asphalt driveway. This is the filing history of when it was filed, and these are the plan references. There's two that look like they're almost the same because one was with the addition of the elevations, or highlighting of the elevations. The proposed work was within the buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands. The addition was proposed to be 40 feet from the edge of the BVW, 146 feet from Sandy Brook, and at or just above the 100-year floodplain elevation. I will change that to just above. The total disturbance is 840 square feet in the outer riparian. However, since the addition will be partly on existing driveway and will entail removal of the sunroom and walkway, the total net addition of impervious area is 404 square feet. The Commission finds that this increase complies with the performance standards found at CMR, etc., new construction in riverfront area. The Commission finds that this project is exempt from Massachusetts stormwater management regulations as it is a single-family house. I am suggesting that because of the high groundwater table, the Commission did not require rooftop runoff infiltration. The addition was going to run off into the lawn, as you'll recall. This permit under the Burlington Wetlands Bylaw may also serve as a permit under the Erosion and Sedimentation Control Bylaw. Most of the rest of this is fairly boilerplate stuff for the McLeans. This refers to the erosion controls, but that's made clearer in the order, which I'll get to in just a moment. And as you heard Gail saying earlier, the use of pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers creates potential adverse impacts on sensitive areas such as wetlands, riparian zones, and streams, and the applicant will not be allowed to use chemicals within 100 feet of resource areas except when given approval by the Conservation Commission. And the rest of this refers to the order, which I'm going to get to in a moment, and it suggests we're proposing a cash performance guarantee in the amount of $2,500 for the length of the project. And the rest of this is just says that what would happen if there's non-compliance with these conditions. Let me see if I can get to the order now. Let me close that one. Oh, that's the bylaw again. Oh, okay, here we go. Sorry about this, guys. I thought I had this ready to go. I'll just read it this way. So this is the order. The plans are referenced as before. A lot of these for initial conditions, Mr. and Mrs. McLean, are just standard. The order permits work within the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands and riverfront area to Sandy Brook. No other work within any other wetland resource is being permitted by this decision. A lot of these are just standard. We'll get up to the pre-construction conditions. You need to give the Commission written notice a few days before you're going to do the activity on the site, and then you'll meet with us on site. having clearly marked the work area with stakes, markers, or flags. And then you will also meet with us, with the conservation staff, to review this order of conditions. And at that time, you'll need to have proof that this order has been filed at the Registry of Deeds, a list of who's going to work on it, a dewatering plan, and the surety, which we mentioned in the bylaw. And you'll need to, at that time, also have a sign displaying the project's DEP file number. At that time, we will also inspect the erosion controls, which will be installed along the erosion control line as shown on the reference plan. Materials shall not be stockpiled on the site within 40 feet of wetlands. No dewatering permitted on this site in conjunction with these conditions unless approval has been received. Manually sweep the sediments off the street every workday. Install silt sacks in catch basins within 100 feet of the work, and we reserve the right to require additional erosion control. No additional grading beyond which is shown on the approved plan shall be allowed. Any debris that falls into the wetlands shall be removed by hand, and no other materials shall be dumped in the wetlands. And this condition will be noted on the certificates of compliance as existing in perpetuity. This is referring to various things about spills and how much fuel can be on site. No pesticides, herbicides, or fungicides within 100 feet of the wetlands. And this condition will also be in perpetuity on your certificate of compliance. Stormwater rooftop from the addition runoff shall be discharged to lawn. I only found out the number of native shrubs today from Mary, and that is going to be 8. So I'm going to put 8 in there tomorrow morning. Shall be planted in the 20-foot no disturb area. And then this tells you what you need to do in order to get a certificate of compliance at the end of your project.
Okay.
Okay. Do you folks, Michael or Colleen, have any questions at this point? You can always call the office if you need a clarification or question.
No, I think we're all set at this time. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so any of the commissioners have anything further on either the findings or the order of conditions? No. All right, could I have a motion to close the hearing on DEP file number 122-649?
So moved, Gail.
Second.
Bill,
All right, Gail, how do you vote?
Yes.
Indra?
Abstain.
Bill?
yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. That carries 501. Could I have a motion to adopt the findings under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 for DEP file number 122-649?
So moved, Ed.
Second.
Second, Bill,
All right, Gail, how do you vote?
Yes.
Indra?
I was absent in the last meeting. That's why I abstained.
All right, Bill?
yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And chair votes yes. That carries 501. Could I have a motion to adopt the order of conditions for DEP file number 122-649 under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 in the State Wetlands Protection Act?
So moved, Bill,
Second.
And Gail.
Gail, how do you vote?
Yes.
Indra?
Abstained.
Bill?
yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. That carries 501. How much performance surety are you recommending, Gail?
I had suggested 2,500. Does Gail go along with that?
How much, Eileen? I'm sorry.
2,500?
Okay, 2,500. That sounds pretty standard. Okay, could I have a motion to adopt the requirement for posting a performance surety at 2,500 under DEP file number 12649 under Burlington Bylaw Article 14?
So moved, Gail.
A second.
Second, Bill,
Okay, any of the commissioners have any comment on this one?
I just want to think, can I vote for this? I was not in the meeting. just for this bond, can I vote?
I'll ask John.
It's probably best that you don't.
Okay, good, thank you.
All right, okay. All right, so there's a motion on the floor for a $2,500 performance surety. Gail, how do you vote?
Yes.
Indra?
Abstain?
Right. Bill?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Okay, that carries 501. Good luck with your proposed project to build an addition, folks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Well, take care. Have a good evening.
You too.
All right. Now, I think I missed pointing out, is there anyone here for items 9, 10, and 11 for the Redmond Street roadway, 4 Redmond Street and 5 Redmond Street? Well, that's good, because I forgot to announce that it's been continued. I believe it is continued at this point to October 8th.
That's correct.
All right. I'm glad no one was here waiting for me to say something on that. All right, next.
I had, excuse me, but I had one question. Is this going to be in regards to the Raymond Road extension?
Yes, it's been continued until October 8th. Were you waiting for that, sir?
Yes.
All right, it has continued. John, do you want to say anything about that at the moment?
Sure. We had asked them to do some additional wetland delineation to see if there'd be less wetland impacts coming off of Raymond Road rather than extending Redmond. And they have finished that wetland flagging, and we went out and looked at it. So they're considering redesigning the project as a result. So they'll be coming to presumably
Redesigning as extending Raymond Road?
quite possibly, yes.
Okay.
All right, sir, I'm sorry I forgot to mention it earlier. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had to listen to all this good stuff.
Oh, it's all good stuff.
All right. All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
you're welcome. It's a public meeting, so you're welcome to stay and listen to the rest of it, or you can log off at any time.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. So the next item on our agenda after that brief interlude was, okay, we have a public hearing. Okay, notice is hereby given that we will hold a hearing, a virtual public hearing, during which time we will take information related to a notice of intent. It was filed by In Ho Lee for the directional drilling of a new sewer line in association with the tear down of a dwelling and the construction of a new dwelling at 102 Rare Wynn Street in Burlington. The proposed work would be within the bordering vegetative wetlands pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, which is the State Wetland Protection Act, and Burlington Bylaw, Article 14. The Commission will review information relative to this application and may issue an order of conditions for a permit. The application may be viewed on the Conservation webpage. If you have questions, you can send an email to conservation@burlington.org. Okay. All right. So who is going to be speaking? All right, Mr. Dresser, you can, obviously introduce yourself and all the others with you.
Thank you. I'm just going to share my screen if that's all right.
Sure.
Did it go through? There we go. For the record, Stephen Dresser, representing In Ho Lee in the matter before you. Mr. Lee is proposing to demolish an existing house on the property, construct a new home with a garage on the side. Has kind of a turnaround driveway in here with a portico. He will be getting utilities from an existing utility pole on here, and the roof drains are connected to a stormwater infiltration system. All of this activity is outside of the buffer zone. However, due to the size of the house and the need for the turnaround and the demolition, He is, he meets the threshold for needing a stormwater management permit. And as I understand, that will be handled as part of this process. What is happening within the buffer zone is the connection to sewer. Mr. Lee is proposing to do some directional drilling on this, which basically means he's going to be drilling under the wetland and out to a gravity manhole, standard manhole out on toward Wind Street, and then connecting gravity as conventionally off to Wind Street. Now, the way this works is they dig a kind of a entry hole and a staging area prior to the wetland, and then they have an exit hole, kind of a target outside the wetland, and we'll be staying outside of the 20-foot no disturb zone. We won't have any disturbance within that 20-foot setback. So they set up a rig and they literally drill underneath this using GPS and those type of techniques. Relative to what this type of project can do, this is fairly simple. They have a 330-foot shot. So they'll put, it's an 1.25 inch pipe. They'll drill right around 2 inches or so through there. And then what they do is they come over here and they put a reaming bit on the drill, and they pull it back, and that will open up a hole, that a 2-inch hole that'll be clean. Then they'll go back in once that's clean, and then they actually pull the pipe from this side through here. It's a solid pipe, and it will come up through here. What they use is a mixture of water and a bentonite clay, which is a very soft clay, and that it basically, as they drill, that lubricates, it supports the hole, and it gets pulled back out onto this side, and there'll be like a stilling basin over here, and that will all get separated and recycled. If they between the soils, if they hit bedrock, they actually go through the bedrock. The cuttings will get separated, and they'll reuse that bentonite clay. So once that pipe is in, they will put a standard manhole out here again, and then this is just they'll have gravity connection as per town standards out to Wind Street. And the way to do this has been approved by he hasn't looked at the plans yet, but he's approved the concept. That the town engineer has done that. I spoke with John this afternoon, and one of his concerns is that there's a culvert here that has only about between 15 and 18 inches of cover on it. We discussed the possibility of getting a temporary easement. There's kind of a sliver of land through here that at one time was actually used as the right of way, but they didn't actually have a deeded right to do anything but go to Wind Street through that property. So it was shut down, but they're going to revisit that at least to see if they can do a temporary easement for construction vehicles. I see. The concern isn't necessarily even the threader, the directional drilling machine. That's not very big, but concrete truck. This is the whole house: concrete trucks, lumber trucks, and such. It's a valid concern to have there. If he can't get the easement, I think we can just put a metal plate down there and make sure, to a structural guy, that we're going to be okay, and look at that culvert a little closer and make sure it's structurally sound. It's an old corrugated metal culvert, so it's been there a while. I before we had that conversation, I haven't taken a real close look at that or not. So I think that's about it. Mr. Lee is here. He's willing to answer any questions. He does own the property, and I believe he's building his personal home at this site as well.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Dresser. John or Eileen, do you have any comments or concerns we should beware of before we start talking?
So once again, the commission did a site walk. The driveway itself is quite narrow and long, very long. So that, in addition to the culvert, The narrowness of the roadway is one of the reasons I talked to Mr. Dresser about trying to get an alternative access for construction vehicles. Um, so hopefully they can look into that. And so today Mr. Dresser also told me that the land disturbance is over 20,000 square feet, that there may be some blasting involved. So there's a lot of land disturbance. So we will regulate this under the sediment and erosion control bylaw. So basically the entire site is part of this the permit that you'll be issuing. The wetland delineation, we haven't looked at it that closely, but it seems like it's in the ballpark and they're not really coming that close to it. They're staying within the roadway. I think that's it for now.
All right. All right, so let's, we'll make a list and see what we have to, unless it, if it's not quick, something you'll respond to in writing, and hopefully we'll get it before the next meeting. So let's go to it. Gail, you have some questions or comments?
Yes. So that driveway that goes into the property, there's no plans for widening it or resurfacing it or anything like that. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay. I think I agree with, what John was concerned about in terms of the drive and construction vehicles going in and out, but also the integrity of the culvert. I have no idea, it was kind of hard to see the actual culvert pipe and how old it is and what kind of shape it's in. So that obviously needs to be stay intact. And then I guess because there's going to be a lot of disturbance and so forth on the site, I think the trucking in and out is going to be something to be concerned about, and to make sure that it would be great if you could get, and I'm sure the owner would prefer to have easier access because it would probably be less costly. But that would be great if somehow that could be worked out. And then I guess because this driveway slopes down towards the wetland, you probably need some pretty hefty sediment erosion controls to keep any kind of debris from the construction site making its way down into the wetlands. That's all I have for now.
All right. Okay, Indra, are you still here, Indra?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay.
Mr. Dresser, you told that you're going to drill. How many holes you're going to drill?
It's just one.
Just one. And how deep? It could be go to. That's
They
what
can
I
go.
heard.
They can go as deep as they want. It'd somewhat be soil reliant, but it'll go underneath the stream by at least a few feet.
And what is the location? I couldn't see your cursor. Can you show me where?
So yeah, in this area. So if you can see that, just I guess see if I can get a north arrow here. So north is up and to the left. So kind of here northeast of this wetland, right here.
Okay.
What they do is this will be kind of like a shallow hole, and they literally, it's like a starting point, and they'll drill right through here, and come out almost to Win Street. And I'd suggest there's some pretty easy to watch animated things online to show how it's done. It's really quite interesting and a very valuable, I think, technology now to avoid wetlands crossings.
Yeah, it sounds very interesting, but the thing is, there will be a lot of disturbances in the wetland. Am I correct?
No, it's going right underneath it. There'll be no disturbance of the wetland.
No disturbance of the wetland. Okay.
It's subsurface.
All right. I just wanted to be sure. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Bill?
I just want to clarify, I noticed on the drawing along the driveway, it says reclaimed pavement. Is that what is currently there, or is that going to be something new added to it?
No, that's what's there now.
That's what's there, okay. And so that's a permeable surface, so there's no real concerns about driveway runoff then.
Right.
And my other question was about obstructions during drilling, but you're saying this can go right through bedrock. I'm impressed.
That's what it does. That's what they tell me.
So it's an abrasive basically mixed in water, and that with enough pressure and
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty solid drill. You know, that it's a lubricant. The clay is actually a lubricant. So clay water mix is not abrasive. It's a lubricant.
Okay.
So it keeps the drill cool. It supports the hole, and it helps to take those cuttings and soils out of the hole.
Do you have a video available that you could like forward to Joan or Eileen and they could share with us?
Right now, or
No, I mean it's sometime.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that'd be great.
yeah,
'Cause that'd
yeah.
be informative.
If you wanted to Google directional drilling too, there's quite a bit there.
Okay.
But I'll do that.
Oh, yeah, that would be interesting. I would be interested too to see that.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Okay, Jen, any comments or questions on this?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Okay, and Ed,
Nothing to add.
Kent,
Nope, nothing to add.
all right, a couple of questions. I just had a couple of things. You're going to try to avoid taking, Mr. Dresser, is this correct what I heard? You're going to try to avoid taking construction vehicles over the culvert. Is that correct?
They're going to make an effort to get the neighbor to give this a butter here, owns a sliver of land, to get an easement from them to avoid needing to do something for that. Yeah.
So here's the thing. You said there was relatively shallow cover over the culvert.
Yeah.
So if you have to drive heavy construction vehicles over it, two questions. Can you think of anything you can do to protect the culvert from getting crushed? And how will you know if it does get crushed or damaged?
Well, it's not a very long culvert, so you can do visual inspections to make sure it doesn't. I
Okay.
believe if you put just a metal plate over it, because it's not like 2 inches of cover, it's like 15 to 18 inches of cover from what I've seen from my field note, my survey notes. I did, this is something John and I talked about today. I didn't get a chance to go out and look at it to confirm that. But you can visually check it. Like I said, I think a metal plate would be fine, but
Sure.
I'm not a structural engineer. I'd like to get that confirmed by a structural engineer before I committed to saying it would work, but it seems like it
All
would.
right. So you're thinking of a metal plate, and if not, you'll figure something out from an engineer if you have to do it.
Yes, yes. And
All
we'll
right. So you'll give us details when that comes to pass, if that comes to pass.
correct.
All right. Okay. What do you know about Mr. Dresser? What do you know about this? You're going to put a storm tech chamber in back of the house, and it looks like, I assume you need 4 feet of soil, so you can have a couple of feet or more below it, so it can drain. Do you know whether it's all bedrock in that location, or do you know that
There
it's
is some bedrock, but I do have testing. I'll show it and confirm it. I did find some because I actually did a septic system, a Burlington septic system on this, which is rare, about 6 years ago, I think. So there are a bunch of tests up here.
So you'll confirm the soil conditions to us, in other words?
Yes.
Okay, all right, good. And at the Wind Street side, it looks like the elevation comes up where you need to connect to, you'll be connecting to the sewer in Wind Street, is that correct?
That's correct.
So does that mean that there's a fairly substantial excavation at that point in order to connect in order to make it deep enough so you can connect to the pipe?
The pipe's about 8 feet deep, so it's fairly standard.
So you'll have a big excavation at that point.
The manhole will go down about 5.5 feet.
All right,
So the
so,
location of the manhole, if you look over here, the rim is 148. Out in the road, it's 150, 125. So it's about um, 3 foot below the road. But where it's 8 feet deep, there's enough pitch that we would only have to do about a 6 foot manhole there.
all right, so I guess from a commission's point of view, is it correct? All we need is some erosion controls for when you dig that up.
Yes. Yep.
Okay,
And those are
All right.
shown. I'm looking at it. I think it really should be closer to Wind Street because the erosion control is inside your
okay.
20-foot zone. So
all right.
I can bring that closer to Wind Street. That'll help with that.
Yeah. All right.
With the depth of the manhole as well.
I guess, and the last question that occurs to me is, it looks like as you face the house, the right side of the house has some pretty steep grades. Can you do this without a wall? Do you think you need a wall there, or will this hold without eroding away?
Will what hold?
The grades going from like 174 down to 167. That's like on the right-hand side, it looks like it looks like a 7-foot drop.
Yep. Yeah, we're comfortable that we can stabilize that. We can use some erosion control blankets if you'd like.
Yeah, so I think John and Eileen will notes on that, if whatever their judgment is on that, but I thought you might be proposing to construct a partial wall there, Mr. Dresser. I'm not trying to tell you what to do.
You know,
I don't know.
it's not proposing, but I'll talk to Mr. Lee about the aesthetics of that. He may choose to do a wall instead of having a large slope on the side.
Right, that's a very good point. Very good point.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and you'd revise the drawing if the owner decides to do something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think that's all I have. So, is there anyone in the audience for this, or is there anyone else on the commission that would like to make any comment based on what's been said so far? All right, so we won't, since it was open tonight, we will not be closing tonight, but John, do you need to take another look at the wetlands delineation?
I'll take a look at it. There clearly none of the work is that close to the wetlands, except I mean the driveway certainly is, but they're going under the wetlands. So the main two places to look are the entry point and the exit point of the excavation. So I'll look at the flags better on there.
Okay. And is there anything else? There's a few things that they're going to look at, but as far as issues to respond to, I didn't hear anything else. Did anyone hear anything else that we should put on the list? Is there anything that is needed from these folks, John or Eileen?
Steve, can you just remind me, was there a stormwater management plan in the packet because it's a whole...
I'm going to double check that. If there's not, I'll give you one. I actually, when I went through it today, and I didn't prepare this, my associate at work did.
I just feel like you may not have been prepared for this to all be like enrolled into the erosion control process.
Yeah. If there's not,
So I think we'll need one.
there may not be. I'll give you one. I think I'm going to take a closer look at some of the stormwater management as well.
John or Eileen, are you satisfied with the location and the type of erosion control up near the house? They have it around the back and the right side of the house. They have 8-inch straw wattles and silt fence. There's some pretty steep grades there. Do you feel like we need anything more than that?
So on the downhill side, I think we may need hay bales and silt fence rather than wattles.
Okay, I had a feeling you might say that, which is why I was asking.
Right.
Okay. All right, and so you'll communicate that to Mr. Dresser? Or maybe
I
we
think-
just did.
I think you heard it.
Okay. All right, that's all I have. So does someone object to the following statement that we may be in a position to close? I guess hearing nothing, I assume that's the case. Right, Eileen?
As long as we have the stormwater management tied up. Yep, I don't see any reason why not.
All right, good, thank you. All right, so the next meeting is October 8th. Should we have a motion to continue the meeting to October 8th?
Yes.
All right,
So moved, Ed.
second.
Bill,
All right, Gail, how do you vote?
Yes.
Indra?
Indra just left.
Okay, Bill?
yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Okay, chair votes yes. It's 500 is the vote.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll see you folks October 8th.
Thank you.
Okay? Very good. Thank you all. Okay, now we skip down to number 12, planning board comments. Any comments?
Let's see.
I have to cut out. This is Bill. I got a water main break right in front of my house. I got to go see what's
Okay.
going on.
Go fix it,
All
Bill.
right. Okay, Bill, nice to see you. Go supervise.
Band too. All right, see you.
Yeah.
Put your boots on.
It's scoop out some of that water. You might need it.
Put a hose in there and start watering my plants.
Exactly.
All right, see you, Bill.
No planning board comments, Larry.
All right, committee and staff reports or updates.
So we have town meeting next week. Conservation doesn't have any items on the warrant. There are some financial articles with regards to cuts, but nothing that affects the conservation department at this point.
All right, so we're okay there. Next meeting is October 8th and October 22nd. Other business, is there anything under other business? All right, could I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, please?
Move, Gail.
Second?
Second, Jennifer.
All right, Gail, are you in favor of adjourning the meeting?
That would be nice, thanks.
All right, Jen,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
chair votes yes. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Have a good night.